We're here. We made it. We have a guest from the other side of the world compared to where I am, which is really a fellow global citizen. With us today, we have Eddie Avil. He comes to us from technology, he comes to us from XR. Eddie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Let's chop wood.
Lovely. So
Appropriately
thank you.
speaking, I would ask you, Eddie, tell me about India.
Haha, beautiful country. I think it's one of the only nations where we have managed to have so many different religious people come together without any problem. I think it's one of the only countries which has got, like, you name it. It's got Hindus, it's Muslims, it's got Catholics and Sikhs, and I think what's unique about our country is in our religion we have around, I think, a million gods. So and I think, yeah, what's unique again is the population, 1.3 billion people, economy is growing, we are becoming a strong nation, the internet is has enabled us, and there's great things happening. So yeah, it's a beautiful place. You should visit visit India.
Who is Eddie Avil?
Haha. Yeah, Eddie. Yeah. So yeah. So I started in the creativity space soon after school. I realized that the traditional education was not meant for me, and I dropped out of college. Started a rock band. Was playing for this band for 15 plus years. Recorded a few albums. Toured Russia. From there, I moved on to Bollywood. Composed music for a couple of feature films. Did a whole lot of advertising jingles. Composed a whole lot of jingles. Made some good money. Started a studio, and I thought that that was it. That was life. I mean, because everything was good. I was getting paid for doing music. I was living a good life, and then 2015 virtually already happened, and everything changed for me. And I realized that there's so much more to life, and there's so much more that we can do with this technology. So who I am, I am passing through life. I'm trying to enjoy this, and I intend to create a dent. Yeah, that's who I am.
You've been in the XR industry for a number of years. I've had the pleasure of knowing you for a number of years, for a very long time, it seems. And you've done and you do incredible things in this space. And from my lens, with certainly being afforded the opportunity, audience, to have a global perspective on who has been building what, who have been the voices and our leaders in this industry, undoubtedly, Eddie Avil would be at the top of the list of many that I know when it comes to India and the voice of XR for the acronym meaning extended reality, subsequent virtual and augmented reality. Eddie, let's go back some. Let's talk about your first experiences of XR, how it's grown from your lens perspective, culturally speaking, and then we'll touch on a few things on the self same subject.
Lovely. First of all, thank you, brother, for acknowledging my little humble effort to, raise awareness of this wonderful technology. So, like I mentioned, I got introduced to virtual reality in 2015. I've directed, produced India's first stereoscopic virtual reality horror short film called Crackle. It's done the festival circuit, And from there, I realized this was 2015, and the problem with the industry was it was completely not sustainable. And I I I said, okay, let's see if we can make this industry sustainable, because I was in awe of this technology and of what it could do. I read a lot of things about virtual reality, and I said, oh wow, this is a rabbit hole, because the more you get into it, the more it gets exciting. But the industry wasn't there. The industry wasn't there, and if the industry is not there, then there's nothing can move ahead. So I founded Immersion. Immersion is India's first and largest virtual reality film festival and conference. And the reason I started that was to help myself and the industry grow. And that did really well. But the problem with Immersion, I realized what it was like a yearly event. And we had to do more to engage the audience over here. And I said, can we figure a way to engage the audience on a regular basis? And that's when I founded XROM, which is a digital news outlet for news when it's comes to AR, VR, and what's happening around the world. There was XR Room. And then I said, maybe we could push a little bit more and do something more. And that's how I started the podcast, XR Room Podcast. And so far, I've interviewed somewhere around 100 odd leaders from India and around the world. It's an outlet for, to create awareness of what's happening, give a voice to the 2000 plus XR startups here in India. Plus, it's a way to educate myself on what this technology is doing and what's going to do in this decade. And I also have a business leg of sort of that. It's called XR Bazaar, where I buy, sell, and rent AR, VR products. And so, yeah, I've been in the space for like maybe 6 years, and I'm enjoying the ride. And I hope that this grows, and maybe what's coming next, like the metaverse and whatever. I mean, we create a sustainable industry.
So many questions for you, Eddie. You and I can certainly go the distance. I want to talk about distribution. And globally, we're almost at about 60 million deployed HMDs. For those in the audience, meaning head-mounted displays or virtual reality headsets. And the white elephant in the world of distribution is that one of our biggest technology hubs in the world, India, isn't getting the distribution that many countries that we enjoy and have great relationships with do have access. I know this is something that you have identified early on, and I've taken notes from what you shared. Share with our audience, Hetty, what does that look like for you when it's come to access? And what does it look like today? Here we are, we're in a pandemic, yet still, 18 months in, heading to 19 months. We have found ourselves thus far, and we've become more virtual in the past 18 months than we have the past 10 years. What does this look? What is the state of XR in India and access today? And when did you first know that things were a little bit different compared to many other places in this world?
Yeah, so accessibility obviously has been a problem, and that's what I identified early on, and that happened because I was privileged to be part of this industry, and I realized that the problem here is that there are few players who are leveraging platforms such as Amazon and other e-commerce plays, and they are selling these hardware for two or three times the rate. For example, Oculus Quest, which is retailing it somewhere around 300 USD, here it goes to somewhere around 700 plus. So yes, accessibility is a problem, and then there is a genuine problem of sorts, because the logistic plays a huge role. When you're shipping the product, then there's the taxes which plays a huge role. So there is a genuine problem which needs to be sorted, and I think the big tech such as Facebook, Microsoft, HTC, they are not seeing value yet of maybe launching their product over here, because the market in itself is still in its nascent stage. Though I must say that there are some magical movements which is happening the last couple of months, and I think that's largely because of COVID. And because COVID has thrusted us all into this digital world where everything virtual and remote has been like really, we've understood the importance of that. So yes, there is has been a larger demand in such in ways. There has been the education industry who is understanding the benefit of the value what a virtual reality could or augmented reality could add. So I'm hopeful that maybe by 2022 maybe things will look a little bit better, and I hope that these brands launch over here because it's a huge market. India and China itself, that's a huge ass market. We have 1.3 billion people, and everybody's understood the benefits of technology, and everybody's talking about remote education, remote healthcare, remote training, but there is a genuine problem of the price points even now. Once that comes further down and they launch the products over here, I think India would be a nation where every startup would want to be, because it's such a huge ass market. Even if you capture a tiny market, that's going to be like something which is going to be really valuable for any startup.
What is the influence of India to technology itself in this world?
Yeah, so I mean, it's plain to see some of the biggest companies in the world. You name it, Google, Microsoft, and so many others. The CEOs over there, Indian CEOs, and yes, I think we have been exporting IT minds to countries like US, Europe, and around the world. So yes, we and maybe because of the growth of our economy right now and the larger population are now speaking in English, I think that itself is extremely influential, because there are brands around the world who want to launch over here and leverage the market opportunity. So I guess that itself speaks a lot. 1.3 billion, the economy is growing, the purchasing power is growing. It is a huge ass market opportunity, and if the Facebooks and the Microsofts and the Magic Leaps and the HTCs do not launch over here, I think maybe some of the startups who see the opportunity will land up and create the market pie. They'll obviously take away a huge market pie if they don't land up over here soon.
To be frank, I'd like to see that one day. The autonomy, I enjoy it, and from afar, the great contribution that could come in form of hardware, in mass, and distribution to where I could buy a headset that's made in Mumbai, Bombay, Hyderabad, Punjab, so many different other wonderful cities and places in India. Let's talk content. Last week we had Juan Manuel Escobar from South America, and we were talking about Latin America influences in technology when it comes to content creation and development. I ask you, knowing that with XR technology, where we build is just as much as important to the ideas when it comes to creativity. What are you seeing that you believe when it comes to content creation in India? Let's lean in on this. What do you see as the dominant form of content being created, or even prospectively, in your native land?
So yeah, I think Bollywood is huge over here. It's a huge ass industry. We make the largest number of movies. So
Yes.
yeah, so we are a creative lot, because we are constantly churning out content, and now there has been a sudden shift because of COVID. Bollywood is no longer that relevant, because OTT digital platform has taken over. I'm not saying it's not relevant anymore, but then content creators have seen that, oh, there is so much opportunity over here. There is these OTT platforms, there are these digital platforms, and the best part is the advertising agencies are waking up to immersive technology. There are more and more ad agencies who are trying to leverage augmented reality, in creating content. These are possibly the first few steps, which I'm not saying that they're taking down. These guys have been, I mean, they are smart people because these are big companies. So everybody is being vested in the space, but it's almost like a wait and watch approach. Even Bollywood itself, I think there's a whole lot of directors and producers who have set up their own virtual reality studios and immersive tech studios, and are tinkering with the idea of creating content which is interactive and which is for the new medium, because they know that, you know there there is an evolution because of COVID. Your theaters have almost, I mean, it's over, like you said, 1 year 8 months odd, it's been shut. I mean, today as we having this conversation, this is the first, today is the day the theaters have opened up. I don't really know how many people are actually gonna go to the theaters now, because people have understood that, oh yeah, I mean, I can watch content on television. I mean, your OTT is there and your digital medium is there. I think that people will go to theaters for those big budgeted movies, like the Avengers, and maybe like these big budget Bollywood movies. But I think the larger shift is going towards digital content, and I think everybody is aware about that. It's just that you need some brave content creator to find a way where we could not just streamline content creation for everyone, create something that that inspires everyone, but also find a way to monetize that, because there is a problem, when we create, maybe like if we get to like virtual reality, augmented reality content, the problem here still is maybe the deployment, the distribution, and then the monetization. I think globally, I think people are now trying to solve those things. So I do believe that once maybe Bollywood and the other players also start leveraging this new technology, I think there's going to be a huge shift. There's going to be a which could also play like a catalyst role for globally to kind of like maybe look at immersive tech with a lens which maybe I think not many are looking at.
I know that in respects to the pandemic, that here in North America, there's been incredible devastation. And even up to this day, while the pandemic is in decline, even with the great distribution of vaccinations, which hasn't taken more than 60%, but it's less than 60% here with vaccinations, and 1,600 people departing a day from this pandemic that still abides. Yet we now find ourselves in a remote hybrid economy way of work, and how things have formed, I know, here in North America and elsewhere. What are you seeing on the ground? What have you seen? What has been the impact of this pandemic, and how has it changed work itself?
Right. So I think the government is really pushing things because they've realized that they've they come on a back foot, and I think the entire machinery has come together to lift the entire nation up and get the economical engine rolling. So I mean, 1.3 billion people. So I mean, there has been terrible impact, across India. But I think everybody has come together. I mean, what I'm seeing is that there is a collective movement of sorts to gather the industry together and start, you know, getting the economical engine running. That's the outlook what I'm seeing, and I hope that things come back soon. So yeah, that's what I feel.
What are you currently, and what is your biggest focus in business? Share with us, the audience, why did they get in contact with Eddie today?
So yeah, I'm more of like maybe like an evangelist, community builder of sorts. Yeah, so I I'm here to raise awareness. Maybe I'm a messenger of sorts, you know, where I'm creating awareness of this technology and what it could do. So my business is to, you know, connect with people and make them understand the potential of this technology and how they could benefit by leveraging this technology. And my business legs are, like I mentioned earlier, XROM, which is a marketplace of sorts where buy, sell, rent AR/VR products. I have Immersion, which is India's first VR, virtual reality film festival and conference. Which in the next year, talking to a state government here to build a 5 year long IP where we can bring in more investment for AR/VR from India and around the world. So startups can come over here. We can create an incubator accelerator of some sorts to support or startup industry. And create an alliance of sorts, you know, because there is a lack of alliance, you know, where the industry, academia, startup, market, investor alliance. So everybody realizes the benefit, and the industry grows. So yeah, I'm trying to create an ecosystem. Maybe I'm working on creating a sustainable industry, because I believe that if the industry becomes sustainable, I think everybody is going to benefit.
Incubators, accelerators, startups, entrepreneurship, deal flow, venture capital, angel investments. Where is the destination within India for this to take place? Ideally, what city are we talking about?
I guess, I mean, so far people have identified, I mean, like a Bangalore as the tech capital. But I think the world has changed because of COVID. And I think the destination has become online, it's become virtual. If you are a good startup, I think we can create awesome conversation. So I think that's the gradual move, which I, I don't think this investor startup engagement is going to happen in the future in a specific geography. I think it's going to. I'm not saying that it obviously will be but I think it will not just be stuck to a geography. I think it will be the virtual platform will also be a place where deal flows are going to happen, investor meets, pitches are going to happen, because there is so much opportunity over here. I don't need to, you know, go to a hotel, you know, do a dinner meeting, you know, spend some, you know, travel and so on and so forth. You know, I mean, we can have just like a virtual call. And so things are changing, and I think it's going to be more virtual than physical.
With extended reality, virtual and augmented reality being deployed in the way that it's being deployed, and supply chains have been severely disrupted globally when it comes to access, even here in North America. But with deployment of augmented reality by way of the phone, the mobile device, we are seeing great and incredible success and strive. Is AR the future of extended reality in India, or would you say that VR is the future of extended reality? Yes, I'm asking you to be a bit biased.
Yeah. So you know what, this question has come a lot of times, but I think it's going to be in phases. I mean, it's plain to see augmented reality. We already have the devices. We have 2 billion plus smartphones. So yes, I mean the smart entrepreneurs are leveraging those devices, and there are education institutes who are leveraging tablets and phones for education, and they are using augmented reality. Yes, so I think maybe in the new future it's going to be augmented reality, but I'm not biased towards like an augmented reality or virtual reality or mixed reality. I see a future where everything will seamlessly exist, because I think there are startups around the world and some of the biggest companies in their own way, because of their personal liking. Like Facebook wants to do virtual reality, Microsoft wants to do mixed reality, Snapchat wants to do augmented reality. I think we need all of these players together. Epic is doing building metaverse. I think we all of these players, including so many startups. I have not named the startup. There's so many startups here in India who are building fantastic things, and I guess it's gonna seamlessly blend, because when you talk about technology, at least what I'm seeing from my end, that whenever we talk technology, in fact, when we talk about metaverse, there is not a single technology over there. It's blockchain, there is IoT, there is 5G, there is artificial intelligence, there's NFTs. All of these, once it seamlessly converges, which it is being done, I think we won't need to ask these questions like, is it going to be augmented reality, is it going to be virtual reality. I think all of these will somehow merge in beautifully. And but yes, I mean, to answer your question, I think right now is where the augmented reality has a lot of value. Then maybe in the next couple of years it's just going to kind of blend in. And but anybody who wants to get into it, I think you need to be aware of all these things, because things are changing so rapidly, and you need to be you need to know what's going on, because if you stick to one thing and you realize like, oh wow, augmented reality is emerging with a blockchain creating the metaverse and so on and so forth. So I think we need to be lifelong learners.
Sure, and I think it was well appropriately stated, Eddie. It's certainly merging into being one when we talk about the metaverse, which it's not the next internet. The internet abides within the metaverse, but it is the next of incrementation, shifts, and leaps. Leaps being the most rare and the most widespread occurring in the evolution of technology. It is certainly the next leap that we're looking at front on and full on. And on that note of XR, myself and so many others being advocates of XR for good and how this technology helps people, humanity. In what ways would you like to see XR for good manifested in this world?
Yeah, so I'm in India. We still have 20% of a population, close to 19-20%, which is still illiterate. And healthcare is a major problem. We are so divided at this point in time. The capitalism has created so, I mean, a huge division of sorts. The urban population, we are privileged, to have these conversations over internet. I mean, have a nice apartment, AC, and so on and so forth. But the rural areas, they do not have access to education or healthcare. So I think XR will play a huge role over there in democratizing education. So I'm passionate about that, and maybe even healthcare. And I see that happening in the next few years, and I hope to play a role over there, because I think, when your nation, when your world is educated, I don't think terrorism will exist. All the bad things will kind of disappear, because when your mind is occupied with education and good things, and you're economically great, you won't have the time to go ahead and fight and create war. So that's what I believe. I'm a little optimistic. So yes, I feel education, healthcare is going to play, XR is going to play a pivotal role over there, at least here in India. And
Certainly, my two biggest verticals that I focus on in technology as a whole, two narratives that are so close to my heart: education and medical technology. It's fascinating to understand the promise and the prospects of what we could do together. Let me ask you, what type of relationships do you generally seek after with partnerships and those that you want to be able to form in the development and in the preparation of exploration of these technologies that we've been involved with for so long? The relationships that form between here and Silicon Valley and Mumbai or Bombay or Bangalore, what do these relationships look like? Authentic relationships that you believe is the foundational structure on good things to grow and better ties.
right, so far, I think, when we create relationships, there's always been a lack of trust. Because there's always doubt in the other person's mind. What if he does this? What if she does this? And I think that technology is playing such a huge role. Blockchain, which is coming. I like the ethos what blockchain sits on. The transparent technology, because I think the world functions so opaquely. We've got walled gardens everywhere. The internet itself was supposed to be decentralized, but right now everyone from Apple to Google to Facebook, I'm not trying to pull them down. They are great companies, and I'm blessed to be living in an era when I have a Facebook and Uber and Amazon, and the privileges they grant to anyone sitting anywhere in the world. But I think it still can get better. And that applies to, if we, I think, look at things differently, because I think the world is changing. If we take the decentralization ethos from blockchain and apply it to human relationships, and throw away opaqueness and be more transparent, I think the world will be so beautiful. Because I think whatever is happening in blockchain, I'm really looking at a lens where I'm really excited, right from your decentralized autonomous organizations to everything over there. It's so awesome. So I hope that we get to a point where we create human relationships where we are not trying to look at just an economical exchange of sorts, but a lifelong relationship where we are, it's a two-way relationship of sorts, where we are both helping each other grow. Because I guess that's what we need. So far, the world has been so divided, because of the inequality what capitalism has created. The money division. That's 1% of the global population bloody owns 99% of the entire wealth. Then we go on and divide them with fucking religion. Like I'm Catholic and I'm Hindu and I'm whatever and whatever, and then we go into I'm black, I'm white, I'm brown, and so on and so forth. I mean, I hope that we shed away our differences and come together, because I think we finally have the tool, technology, to create a better world. We can correct the wrongs. There's so many wrongs. The political system, the religious system, the education, the rote education system. And we finally have a tool to correct this and create human relationships which we can, like a family. I mean, because I think we are all a family of sorts, because if you go deep down, we are all made out of atoms which clunk together, and it forms everything that you see, right from me, this mic over here, to the sky, sun, moon, star, everything. So we are all interconnected in ways which we are not trying to question. So if we look at that, how deeply interconnected our entire system is, that, and create something mirroring that, I think our relationship will flourish, and it will create a world which is more optimistic and better for all, I believe.
Undoubtedly, it is so essential for us to find a way and to continue to find a way to build together and to build strong. We hear so much talk about the metaverse, but I submit to everyone in this world of technology, of the builders and the creatives, the designers, the writers, that we must have meta people. You cannot have a metaverse without people. You cannot have a metaverse without community. And as much as I know that so many people want to build virtual spaces, I believe that it's far better to build community and then build a space for that community. Eddie, with this final question for you, what's the most important thing that we should know about Eddie Avil and the work that you are facilitating?
I'm a crazy ass dreamer. I want to see a better world. I want to see a world where the environment is clean, where a 6-year-old can go out and doesn't have to wheeze and cough because of the fossil fuel industry. Uh, I want to create a world where there is no discrimination, where everybody is enabled economically, emotionally, physically. I want to see a world where education and healthcare is not just for the privileged, but it's streamlined for everyone, whether he's a billionaire, he's a millionaire, or he's just a normal human being like me. Yeah, I'm a dreamer like John Lennon. So yeah, my last word would be like, if you imagine, you can create that world.
Eddie, brother, I'm always so happy to be in the company of you, for us to explore, for you to honestly share from your heart the things that are present. It is appreciated. Audience, you've just been introduced to Eddie Avil. Eddie, thank you for joining our show.
Brother, thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
To our
Been a
audience
privilege.
that's with us, indeed, brother. And to our audience that's with us, thank you for taking time to explore and journey with us here on the Christopher Lafayette podcast show. We certainly have enjoyed sojourning with you tonight, and we look forward to exploring and to building with you in the future. We hope that you're keeping safe and well, and we hope to see you again soon.